Hello, welcome back to Book World with Karen Bon. In case you're new here, kindly subscribe to this channel and thank you so much for the returning subscribers. So today I want to analyze us a book that is Mandela, Mobutu and Me by Lynne. It's a very interesting book and I'm sure you're going to enjoy. So sit back, relax as you wait for the story. This is a biography and it reflects the life of Mandela, reflects the life of Mobutu, and then Lynne summarizes by telling us her view about Africa. And having visited the nation, she had even evidences and experiences through the same in the book. So to begin with Mandela, in this book Mandela is portrayed as a peacemaker and even people fighting for the release of Mandela. And after the release of Mandela in 1990, we get that people were so happy and flooding the streets while screaming Mandela free at last. And after that, we get the different versions of Mandela. After being released from prison and coming back to South Africa, then Mandela had quotes or maybe speech, and during the time that he made these speeches and quotes, he said that he will ensure that he drive all whites from Africa and return them to their land and ensure that there is peace in South Africa. But now, because this is a biography and Lynne gives us different versions of Mandela, we've been told through history and everything that we've learned about that Mandela was the peacemaker and Mandela was the hero of his time. But in this book, we get to realize other things that happened during the reign of Mandela that are different from what we've been told about him. So the first thing that we get from this book, that even after quoting and telling people that coming back will make him ensure that he's going to drive away the whites, Mandela is now the European sympathizers. Mandela sympathizes with these people and ensures that a day could not pass without him talking to these people, relating so well with these people. Even if he's a peacemaker, it was, according to the versions that were given, it was too much for him even to visit Betsy. Betsy was the wife to the president who took Mandela to prison or exile during the time that he was abducted. And this is the person that caused Mandela to go to prison. And now Mandela is behaving in a very weird way by going to visit. In fact, in the book we are told that Mandela could trek a long distance of many kilometers just to go and meet this woman Betsy and to have just some talk together. So instead of driving these Europeans away from their land, Mandela is now befriending these Europeans and relating with them closely. So this brought questions to South Africans because this is not what they expected of Mandela. Again, during the quote or the speech that Mandela made, Mandela said that he will ensure that there will be proper housing in South Africa. He will ensure that in South Africa, people will also live peacefully. He will ensure that there is education, good education in South Africa. Mandela also promised people that during his time or during the time that he's going to reign, that life is going to be different and the people are not going to be jobless like they've been. But look at what Mandela delivered. In the book, we are told that Mandela could promise what he could not deliver. And this is visible and from the things that he promised in the book that he's going to deliver, he didn't deliver them. In fact, because after promising people jobs, people were now jobless. In fact, the price of gold increased, but deviated with 20%. So you can just imagine if you are a business person, then the money or the value of your commodity will have reduced with 20%, which is not normal. Again, Mandela promised these people that during this time he's going to provide jobs. Look at people struggling; there are no jobs in South Africa. People are now living in squatters. He promised people homes. He promised people that he's going to build homes. But now South Africa is flooded. People are in squatters. So it means that Mandela was promising things that he was not able even to achieve. So Lynne gives us these different views about Mandela, which are also questionable, because this is someone who is a hero everyone has been admiring, and then we are told a different thing about him, and you're like, how is it possible that a hero, peacemaker, can also afford to do this in this nation? Again, another thing, during the time that Mandela was in prison, Winnie Mandela could participate in abducting people and torturing them. And most of the time, she could take these people to her home or their home and torture people from there. Severally, it was reported to Mandela, but Mandela could not believe. And even after coming out of prison and seeing it, that people were being mistreated, Mandela still could not believe and ended up supporting Winnie Mandela. So you wonder, Mandela is supporting someone who is killing people, and yet he's claiming that he's going to maintain peace and people are not going to be killed. At the same time, during pre-election mayhem, Mandela is the same person who advised or commanded people to go and ensure that people are killed. So he gave the authority, he gave the go-ahead for people to be killed. And this is a peacemaker, there is a hero that is loved by everyone in South Africa. And again, he was loved from the character that is Babsy. We get to see that Babsy loved Mandela even during the time that Mandela was in prison, that people were not allowed even to speak about Mandela, to mention the name of Mandela. People were not allowed even to use to have or to own the pictures of Mandela. Babsy, who is Babsy? Babsy could print the picture on his shirt and walk with it publicly. He could also print posters and hang them all over the roads and what have you. So this expresses the love that Babsy had for this person, only to come back and tell the people during the mayhem, pre-election mayhem, that people should be killed. Oh my God. It was so different because we didn't expect this from a god, someone who is a goddess, someone who is the hero, the best and everything. Again, in the book, Lynne records Mandela as having divorced Evelyn, the first wife. Then secondly, Mandela divorces Winnie. And now we come to ask ourselves, this is someone who is a peacemaker. Was it difficult for Mandela to make peace with the two wives, divorcing them in a row? If Evelyn has been divorced by Mandela, then Winnie, this is someone who is a hero. Why is it that he cannot even live peacefully with the wives? It was a different version that we get to find about Mandela that is so different from what we've been told. So the versions of Mandela that I've given in this book, since it's a biography, these versions, it gives Lynne biography. First of all, the writer has authority of describing someone, a life. And now Mandela is being described in this book by Lynne. Is like a body standing there or lying there to be described and everything and what have you. So in this book, you get to wonder so much about these things about Mandela, because no one expected that, and even you who is listening, I'm sure you will even wonder if that was really Mandela that we've known, who is the peacemaker and the hero. Again, in this book, Mandela, Mobutu and Me, Lynne also gives us versions of Mobutu. Lynne gives us the versions that we know about Mobutu Sese Seko. Gives us different versions, and she also gives us Mobutu, who was a dictator, ruled for 32 years, and during the 32 years, the nation was filled with corruption. And we are also told that bribe was the order of the day, that even the workers and those in the government, they could not survive without bribing. So it was the order of the day in Zaire or Congo. So giving us the versions of Mandela, we get to understand more about this person, because this is Lynne Duke of Africa, describing to us a life that is Mobutu. Duke gives us different versions. Another version about Mandela during the time that corruption was in Zaire through him. For someone, it was extreme that for someone to go and visit someone who is in prison, maybe a family or a friend, you had to bribe. For you to get education, you had to bribe. For you to go to get health care, you had to bribe. So bribing was the order of the day, and if you didn't bribe, then there's nothing you're going to gain at the end. And then again, still under corruption, because of this, he took advantage and took the nation as his, naming places after his family, after his people. And you come to Rwanda. The same Mobutu is now naming a hospital Mama Yemo Hospital. Mama Yemo was the mother to Mobutu, and now naming the hospital Mama Yemo Hospital. And what is so worse about this hospital is unhygienic. That even when you go there, it can help you grow diseases so fast. If you want to die fast, you go to Mama Yemo. If you want to contract so many diseases, you go there. So this hospital was so unhygienic. And the hospital is named after the president's mother. Like, he's so much into theft that he can't even improve the health and the education of this nation, that is Zaire, during this particular time. Again, a different version that we are told, other than corruption, there was theft. That during that time, you can realize that Mandela depended so much on borrowing, debts from foreign countries, foreign aids. And these debts at the end of the year, it could amount to around 400 million. So you could imagine a nation living in debts, and these debts are not solving anything because the nation is full of bribery and corruption. Everyone is corrupted. For you to get healthcare, you have to bribe. For you to get any service in this Congo, you have to bribe. But then they're living on a debt. Per year, it could amount to 400 million. So it means that Mandela, all the aid and everything was for his, Mobutu, was for his benefit in Congo. Again, speaking about the same bribe, you realize that going to hospital, they could go abroad. So it means that if they're going to travel to be treated, then the Kenyans, the Zaireans who are here, or people from Congo, let me say that, who are Congolese who are here, how are they going to survive? How are they going to be treated? Because now these politicians and everything are now getting their services from outside the nation. It was so difficult. And again, we get the version of Mobutu. Mobutu is that one person who, despite the strength and everything, how he ruled, he was the best dictator, dictating to the best, I mean. So this is a dictator. And now sickness could bring Mobutu down to an extent that Mobutu was so weak. Mobutu could not continue with the leadership after some time. Mobutu could not, life could not continue as usual. And in fact, people began laughing that even a dictator, sickness can bring a dictator down. That was so funny of it all. Then Mobutu suffering from prostate cancer. This made life difficult for him. And during this time, he tried to change things in Congo. And at some point, he tried to change the currency. And guess what? The people of Congo refused to use the currency, saying that that is prostate money. We don't want prostate money from someone suffering from prostate cancer. So you can imagine this was so funny that the sickness he could not even overcome. Even though he was the most powerful, he could not overcome. He used the great power and the tradition of these Africans to ensure that through the tradition he could be the great one. Because the tradition says that we have the God who is above us, we have the leader, and you have to respect the leader. We submit to them, they're above us, and then we are following. So he used this to ensure that he was the great one. So the great one could not even fight the disease. And because he could not fight the disease, at the end, Kabila comes and takes the position from him. And then there we find Mobutu. He's now weak and finally dies. So it was so funny that Mobutu, the great one, could also die. In this book, Lynne gives versions of these people in a very vivid way, that you get to question a lot. You're like, even after all this that happened, how is it that it ended this way? Because the end was so different. What we expected and what we found at the end was so different. Because if someone is great, we expect that they be great forever. But if someone is a hero, we also expect that they're going to be heroes forever. But imagine, even Mandela was so corrupt. And Mandela, what I didn't mention, Mandela even refused to make Cyril Ramaphosa the deputy president, even after Cyril helping and fighting and what have you, and he refused and took someone else from the ethnic tribe. So in all this in this book, you get to see the different versions of these people, these leaders that we had in Africa, and you get different versions, and you wonder if this was really true. Then because the book is Mandela, Mobutu, and me. So me stands for Lynne Duke. Lynne Duke now gives us different stories about his experiences, speaks about corruption that is vivid in Africa. Lynne Duke tells us that while he was at the airstrip, waiting for the plane, airport I mean, waiting for the plane there, then the unexpected happened. It happened that she didn't carry the yellow fever card, and because she didn't have it, he was forced into some room so that they can ensure that they provide the yellow fever, but through following the procedures. Then the description that Lynne Duke gives us, that through scanning they went there, and this dark man who is very strong, who doesn't want jokes, comes and scans through the dirty things and pulls up some syringes and wants to use these syringes to prick her. It was so hard, and it just forced her to bribe, because this is the way. Because from the look, that person was just threatening her. He never wanted to prick her with the needle. Instead, that was just some threat so that she can provide some bribe, because that was the order of the day. Again, Lynne Duke talks about visiting places in Africa and meeting Africans who believes in different traditions, meeting Africans that are suffering from diseases like HIV and AIDS was so rampant in Africa that when Lynne Duke walked there, he could find people who still had mates and beliefs that through sleeping with someone or having an intercourse with someone or a young child who is still a virgin will cure the disease, which was so barbaric. It was so stupid reasoning, but it gives us this to show us that in Africa, people still believe in these things. He also talks about Africa that is full of diseases. Everyone is suffering from this because people are embracing the tradition of polygamy. So you find that a husband is working somewhere else and having so many wives there. The same, another wife is at home. And then coming back, infects the wife who is at home, and after infecting them, the wife can't even say it. And it was so difficult because they could not even come out and speak, because if you say you have HIV, you would be killed, or you will be stigmatized. So they didn't have the audacity to speak about it. But talks about the HIV that was full during this time, and talks about the places that are crowded in Africa. She gives example of Rwanda, that Rwanda was built for 500,000 people, yet it's holding 3 million people plus the refugees. So it means that it's a land that is now overpopulated. It's holding people beyond the capacity that it was set for. Again, it talks about corruption and the crowding. So Lynne Duke in this book tries to bring a different version of Africa, giving us different things that happened in Africa from the traditions, from the corruptions, from the crowding that were in Africa. And this also, I guess she's doing this to prove that whatever he was saying about Mandela and Mobutu were really true. So it was a short summary, but it's a very nice book of a good size that if you read it, you'll get a lot of details. That was just according to my from my perspective or my point of view. But if you read, you can understand more and get different versions and more about the people, the leaders that are being spoken about in the book, and also the nations that are represented by Lynne. So it was awesome. Thank you so much for listening to this video. Thank you so much for my returning subscribers. Kindly watch the video to the end and ensure that you share to friends, share my video so that we can get to 1,000 subscribers. Thank you so much, and have a blessed time.